Pooja. Such a pleasure to have all of you on board on a wonderful weekday evening. I think we all are here today for a bigger purpose to understand how we can sort of maneuver relationships and how do we understand healthy relationships. So, thank you for joining in with us today. The Mind Crusaders team, mental health awareness team of 2023-24 under Rotary District 312. Just want to take a moment and thank all of you for choosing to work on yourselves today by being a part of this workshop so we can create more hope in the world and create more compassion and kindness. So as we begin today's event, we have a beautiful sitar rendition by Rotarian Sandali Geetma from Sri Lanka, followed by Rotarian Ravi Kumar from India. Before we get started with the streaming of their rendition, I'd like to read a small paragraph about what the music that is being played by them actually depicts. The Jai Jai Banti expresses the feeling of happiness and satisfaction of achievement while simultaneously conveying the sadness of losing. An apt simile for this rag is that of a king winning a battle. However, he is then told that his son has perished on the battlefield. This rag conveys a sense of having to put duty first. The duality of the emotions of joy and sorrow prevents overreacting to good or bad news. So this is about the sitar rendition, followed by a song that will be played by Rotarian Ravi Kumar. That is Dammaro Dam, which is chosen because it depicts the difficult relationship between siblings and parents. And I think both of these renditions are very, very apt for our evening. So over to Rotarian Pratap.
The meeting is live. Yeah. The meeting is live.
We are not able to.
Yes, in a moment.
Rashmi,
Yes,
DG
ma'am.
is here with me.
Yes. Pratap, which one will you be starting? Good evening, DG sir. We are just starting the program with the rendition from our Sri Lanka Rotarian Sandalini Geetam. So the recording will be played. So
Little bit of a technical glitch. I'm sorry for that.
you can play the next one if this is not going.
So
We can
that
play
is,
this later. Whichever one starts, please start. We are not able to hear the audio, Pratap. Can we proceed further? We can play this once the glitch is settled. Maybe internet is not working, so we can start off with the welcome. The audio is not clear, or is it not coming? Pratap, in the interest of the time, shall we go ahead? Maybe your internet connection is not okay because even your voice is not clear. You're sharing your other screen, so we will go ahead, and then when you're ready with this, we will do this. That's fine? So DJ is already joined in, so
Okay, I think we'll proceed. Sorry for the
we will
technical
proceed.
glitch,
Yeah.
but as we are on a platform of mental awareness, all the more space for any glitches in any of us or in an event. So thank you everyone for cooperating with that. As we move ahead, I'd like to call upon our director, Rotarian Rashmi Tansali, the director of Mind Crusaders Mental Health Awareness Team of Rotary District 3192, to please welcome the gathering.
Pratap, could you spotlight? Greetings and namaskara to one and all here. I am Rotarian Rashmi Tansali, Director 3192 for Rotary Mental Health Awareness. It's my pleasure to welcome our DG, Srinivas Murthy, 3192, and our 3191 friends of Rotary and Rotarians who are participating from 10 Rotary districts. Rotractors, interactors, inner wheel sisters, ants, PDGs, district officers, friends of Rotaries, and my Mind Crusaders team to this unique workshop led by Unnati Zaveri. We thank the Rotarians for the response to our WhatsApp poll that encouraged us to pursue this event. Participating districts are 3191, 3192, 3201, 3250, 3170, 4900, 3190, 3182, 3271, 3261. If anybody else is there, please mention that we will definitely recognize the districts. It's with pleasure that I welcome each and everyone present here. I'd like to state the purpose of the workshop today. Healthy relationships involve mutual respect, effective communication, trust, and support. They contribute to emotional well being, fostering personal growth, and providing a sense of security. Strong relationships also enhance overall mental and physical health. Rotary 3192, along with other districts, is happy to present Mental Health Beyond Boundaries Series 2 with Unnati Zaveri. A small haiku, which I had just penned down, loves a melody, a gentle tune, in hugs and laughter, hearts commune. Trust the glue, holding tight, together in joy and through the flight. I am sure that each one of us will surely have some takeaways today and good practices and tips today to understand healthy relationship in our personal life, social life, work life, and create mental wellness. Thank you. Over to Pooja.
Thank you, Rotarian Rashmi. You've definitely set the tone for a wonderful workshop ahead. I now call upon Rotarian Pratap to introduce DG Rotarian V. Srinivas Murthy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have been entrusted with a job which fills me with great joy. When I see our DG, the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson comes in my head, and I quote, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Our DG has always gone where no one has ventured before, for he made pioneering contributions in setting up cath labs in rural areas like Mandya, which has no such facility for around 100-kilometer radius. He's also very passionate about two subjects which are taboos. The first one being projects for transgenders. The compassion which he has for these marginalized section of the society has motivated him to undertake a project of building toilets for such people. The second taboo subject which he is passionate about is mental health. Under his leadership, District 3192 has helped people affected by mental illness to lead a better quality of life. We at District 3190 have brought awareness about mental health not only in our district but also across South Asia. At the last count, the total number of people who benefited stands at a whopping 40,000, and that too in just 6 months. His journey as a Rotarian is something for us all to emulate. He has been recognized as an outstanding Rotarian, a Best District Secretary, Rotarian of the Year. He has added 52 new clubs to District 3190 and mobilized more than $3 million to the TRF. Our DG is a very friendly person, approachable, affectionate, and affable, a true king of hearts, and has amazing personal contacts across various sections of the society, be it industry or government, or as all his dealings are thoroughly transparent and fair to all. Married to Rotarian Vijaya, DG Rotarian Srinivas Murthy is blessed with 3 children, 1 son and 2 daughters who are well settled in life. And one of his daughters, Rotaractor Pooja, is among us. She is anchoring this event. And I welcome Vijaya ma'am also to the event. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the man, the Rotarian DG Srinivas Murthy.
Well, thank you, Pratap, for that elaborate introduction. Well, good evening, friends. In Rotary District 3192, Mind Crusader have planned a great session to understand healthy relationship, which we often sideline in our daily life. Let me congratulate Mind Crusader, the entire team, headed by Rashmi Tansali. You name Mind Crusaders are there in advocating, promoting, bringing awareness about the mental health. One of the best, team which is really working towards this mental health, and our RA President Gordon McInally is passionate about this. We are absolutely working in that line, and indeed it helps the individual who are suffering without anybody's notice. And this, the entire team, formulated a lot of ideas, way of dealing things. This will go a long way. I congratulate each and every member of this mental health team. Once again. Understanding a healthy relationship involves open communication, mutual respect, and support. Rotary, with its focus on community service, can foster healthy relationship by bringing people together for a common cause. Collaborative project and shared values create a sense of belonging and connection. Strengthening interpersonal bond within the Rotary community at any age. Fostering a healthy relationship involves a communication, respect, and empathy. In childhood, parents and caregivers play a crucial role by modeling positive behavior. In adolescence, learning to express emotion and boundaries is vital. As an adult, maintaining open communication, supporting individual growth, and resolving conflict constructively contribute to healthy relationships. In the elderly, maintaining companionship, understanding changing needs, and offering emotional support are key elements. Continuous learning and adaptation to each life stage are fundamental for understanding and cultivating healthy relationships. Also, it is with pleasure that I will be releasing the e-book compiled by Rotary Pooja Rajashri Srinivas, who is an active member of Mind Crusader 3192. She has meticulously compiled around 50 plus handwritten articles from 10 to 50 Rotary districts in India and worldwide, received in response to the saying project. Empathy is the way forward by email. My heartiest congratulations to Rotarian Lakshmi, Director, and Pooja for the good job they are doing. I wish all the best wishes for the endeavor from District 3192 Mental Health Awareness Team.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for launching. Pooja, please take it ahead.
Yes, thank you, sir, for launching the ebook. So this is for everybody who's not aware of this. We floated out a brief a few months back, which was called Empathy is the Way Forward. The idea of the sailing projects was to make sure that we remind each other that mental health is not something that we work on sporadically, but consistently. So it was a movement which was intentionally initiated by the Mind Crusaders mental health awareness team to normalize conditions of mental health and healing. This ebook is reflective of the stories each individual has reflected to cope with their emotional moments with the theme, Empathy is the Way Forward. The importance of consistently working on our mental well-being and not occasionally was the motto of this initiative, therefore making it a lifestyle. So the message that we carry out to all of you is you matter and so do your emotions. So this ebook will be floated out to all of you. So please take a look at it because I think for me it was very overwhelmingly beautiful to put this together, to see the kind of messages, the kind of different articles, artworks that people sort of sent us to resonate and tell us what their process of healing is. So this was about our ebook. Thank you, DG, for launching it for us.
It's my pleasure too.
Yes. As we move ahead now, I think we can move on to the main reason of why we all have gathered here today, and that is to understand healthy relationships, to also be able to build awareness about what is a toxic relationship, how do we work towards it. So we have with us our esteemed guest speaker, that is Unnati Zaveri. So to tell you a little about our speaker, she's a registered therapeutic counselor with the Association of Cooperative Counseling Therapists of Canada and an affiliated member with the Canadian Psychological Association. Unnati holds a diploma in transpersonal therapeutic counseling from Clear Mind International Institute and a master's in counseling psychology from Yorkville University in Canada. She is the founder of Clay Consulting while also being a life coach, nutritionist, mentor, and author. She has written 2 books, Mold Yourself and Food and Feelings. She also works as a subject matter expert in diversity, equity, inclusion, and mental health, mental wellness. It is my complete privilege to call upon our guest speaker who's going to help us understand what is a healthy relationship. Over to you, Ms. Unnati.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and a special thank you to Pooja for giving such a lovely introduction. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen and we can start looking at the webinar. So I'm hoping everybody can see my screen, correct? Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So basically today we are here not to only sit and listen. We're going to do a lot of introspection. This workshop is not only about sitting and listening. We need to understand and we have to work on ourselves in order for these healthy relationships to coexist and to kind of, maintain them and to even create them. So yes, I will be taking a lot of questions at the end of the workshop. But meanwhile, please stay in. There is some interaction also that I have kind of, embedded in this workshop. So that is something that is very key to me. So I want to start by one thing. I loved, Pooja, the work that you're doing. And, you said something that you matter and your emotions matter as well. And I think that is beautiful. And I'm going to keep that ongoing. I want everybody to please think about that, because when we look at healthy relationships, I think it's very important for us to understand emotions, because relationships are equalizing, they equal to emotions, right? So it's extremely important to understand that. And I will keep coming back to this concept, but it's important to keep this in mind. So before I kind of get into this, I just want to say thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. This is, Clay Consulting is like my baby. It's something that I have created and it's very dear to me. And in collaboration with Rotary, which is District 3192 Mind Crusaders, thank you very much for this opportunity, because it's very close to my heart. So thank you very much for that. So let's start off with this workshop. But I'm going to take you all a little, we're going to go a little, we're going to derail a little bit from healthy relationships. Because I think in order to understand healthy relationships, I think it's very important to understand what is unhealthy relationships, right? So let's start off with a little bit of that. So insecurity. So I'm going to place some emotions on the screen, and all of them will represent unhealthy relationships, right? So insecure is one of the key things that one feels and I'm not talking about intimate relationships here. I'm talking about any sort of relationships. It could be friendship, it could be a parent-child, it could be professional relationship, any relationship, right? So we're not kind of fixating to any one sort of relationship. So insecure is something that is a part of an unhealthy relationships. There's demeaning. So this is when one person is constantly putting the other person down in a relationship. That is what demeaning is. When there is no trust in a relationship, that is the other thing. When there is criticism in a relationship, that is another thing that is a part of an unhealthy relationship. When there is jealousy, okay, this is an emotion that is a very common emotion, right? But we detest this emotion. We think this is, we have to stay away from this, right? Abusive encompasses physical, verbal, mental, all of that. So it's not any one kind. Abusive is a very extreme version of an unhealthy relationship, and a lot of the unhealthy emotions will lead to the abusive, right? There is anger, right? Anger is a very common emotion that we all tend to feel. There is selfishness, right? So selfishness is when you don't consider the opposite person. You don't consider anything about them, right? Then we look at negative. So negative is when you're kind of consumed with negative thoughts. That's, and it's like a go-to place, it becomes a comfort zone for us. If it is becoming a habit, it becomes something that is very close to. So we tend to jump into the negative spiral. So if anyone tells you anything, the first thing you think of is negative. Any kind of, result or anything will be negative. So that is negative. Disrespectful. I think respect is a very, very key component for a healthy relationship. So obviously disrespectful is a part of an unhealthy. And self-centered. So self-centered is when you only think about yourself. It's a very narcissist way of living, because it's all about you. And it's like, you kind of bloat up with yourself. So these are the different emotions, which also some of them are feelings as well, which one feels when there is an unhealthy relationship, right? Now, but let's understand the very truth of life, okay? I, being a psychologist myself, I am not here to paint or to, give you a bed of roses. No, let's look at reality. The truth of life is that all these emotions are felt by all of us. Okay, so I hope you all can see my screen. I don't know if I can change this a little bit here. Okay, so the truth of life is we all feel all those emotions that you all just saw on the screen. all of them are felt by all of us. Okay, so the idea of this is, you know, when Pooja said you matter and your emotions matter too, we're not here to say that all those emotions means bad. I'm not talking about the abusive one. Okay, that's an extremity, so I'm going to keep that out. But the other emotions I'm talking about, all of us have felt those emotions at some point in our life. When we don't control them, when we don't work towards healing them, that is when they lead to an extreme condition, which can lead to a toxic relationship. Okay, so please understand that all these emotions are not bad. We categorize everything as bad and good. Let's not do that. Let's understand all of us have felt these emotions in some way or the other, to some degree, to some sort of intensity, and that is okay if it is worked on and it is controlled. Okay, now moving to the next, then the question arises, how to work on these emotions and what are signs that one needs to work on these emotions, correct? Because all of us feel this. So let me hear from any of y'all, if y'all want to kind of put it on the chat or even just speak about it. What do you think are the signs that one needs to work on these emotions? What signs do you feel that you come across in your life that you need to work on these emotions? So anybody. I don't want to be the only one chatting, but yes. So what do you all think? Anybody?
Type on the chat box.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely. If you all want to type, please go ahead and type. But I would love to hear, what do you think are the signs that something needs to be worked on? Ye nahi ho raha hai. Like there is something that is not working for me. What is the sign that you see? Anger, yes. Uma ma'am has said anger, yes. When anger is felt, correct, okay, great. What else? When there is depression, yes, absolutely. What else?
Frustration.
Frustration, yes, okay. Yes, absolutely. Okay, then no communication. Great, absolutely. Thank you. Okay. Somebody else? Any other thoughts? Sometimes accepting the negative version of you, yes, absolutely. Insecurity, yes, very much. Overwhelming feeling on everything, yes. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to stick with Sandali. You've said overwhelming feeling on everything. Okay. So let's stick with that and let's see the next slide. So when you consistently, the word here is consistently feel any of these emotions, that is your cue, that's your sign that some work needs to get done in this area. And that is the key. When you're consistently feeling that anger, you're consistently feeling that frustration, it's not only in one relationship, in every relationship or in most of your relationships, when you tend to feel like this, these are your cues. You know, your body is giving you cues, your mind.
11:30.
Sorry, somebody said something. Okay, never mind.
Pratap, could you please mute everyone and only Unnati can unmute herself? Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So you all can all hear me, correct? Yes. Okay. So consistently is the word. Consistency. Please keep this word in mind, okay? Because the minute you understand that I'm feeling this all the time, also I'll give you an example. When somebody tells you something and say you react, there is no time, there is nothing in a relationship or in any relationship. Instantly you react. Okay, there is something when your reaction does not match the situation. So somebody's just in fun said something to you and maybe poked you or something here and there, but your reaction, maybe the poking is 5%, but your reaction is 95%. That's the time you understand, there is something going on that is bigger than what I am seeing. So these are your two signs. There's one is consistency. The other one is when your emotion, so your reaction does not match the situation. Okay. So these are two things that will help you to understand, I need to work on this emotion, right? Okay. So a quick activity time. Okay. So there are 3 questions that I'm going to put forward here. So firstly, I'm going to ask everybody to pick one emotion that you feel very often from those emotions, or any emotion that you feel very often, which is of an unhealthy kind. Pick one emotion and just think about it. Okay. Right. Now, the first question. So there are 3 questions, and I want you all to reflect on this, please. Number 1, go back in time to understand, when did I start feeling this emotion? Is it a particular situation? Did someone say something to me? Or have I picked it up from the environment? So I will take you back even to as when you're in your childhood, your teenage years. Is there any time you have felt this emotion, or it has become start of an emotion? So I'll give you a quick example. In your childhood, say you have siblings and you have been compared with your sibling or your cousin or anybody, and because of that you have taken on a belief, or there is a sense of insecurity that you constantly feel. Okay, so that's just an example. So okay, second question, is this feeling that you're feeling, or the emotion, is it a borrowed belief, or is it my own belief about myself? So say for example, one of your aunt came and she compared two of you, or you with your cousin, and she said something, and there is this whole feeling of insecurity that you have taken on. Okay, now is this something that you have felt, or is it borrowed? So please go back to thinking about, is this borrowed or is this my own belief? Because as a child, if this is something that's happened to you in your childhood or in your teenage years, you will understand that as a child, you have a baby brain. You don't have an adult brain. So you don't have any sort of measurement to analyze or to think about anything. What you are taking is on face value. So if somebody says something to me, I will just take it on face value. So is this something that I have just taken on without any sort of analysis? I have just taken on because somebody has told me something? Or is this something that I truly believe? Now, I will tell you, 95% of the times, it is a borrowed belief. Rather, let me put it, 98% of the times, it is a borrowed belief. Okay. The third, this is an uncomfortable emotion, correct? Okay, so if I am feeling insecure, it is an uncomfortable emotion, but I have kept it alive in me because even today I feel it. What has enabled me to do that? So I will give you a comparison. I will give you an example. Because of the comparison, you felt insecure. Now, because you feel insecure, you don't understand how to value yourself. You don't feel confident in yourself. Okay. So in order to feel confident, I need to go outside for somebody else to make me feel confident. Correct. So maybe I become a people pleaser, because then I am seeking validation from the external party to make me feel good about myself. Okay, so the validation is what I am looking at in any of my relationships to feel good within. Okay, now, is this something that, do I like to feel insecure? No. But because it has become my comfort zone, and because I am getting validation because of that insecurity, because that has turned me into a people pleaser, that has led me into getting validation. And this cycle is something that I keep going on and on and on. But that needs to break, because insecurity is not something I want to live with. Insecurity is a burden. I don't want to carry that forward because it hinders my potential, my growth. So I want everybody, please take a moment to just reflect on these 3 questions to understand this emotion. What do I want to do with it? Where is it coming from? What is the root cause of it? And how have I kept it alive for so many years still? Okay, so if anybody would like to share, if you all want to write something about it, please feel free to. If you all don't want to, that's completely fine. But I would love for, if somebody wants to come and speak about it, please feel free to do. Okay, please know that all of this is going to be very confidential. It's all between these, all of us. So nothing is going to go outside. But this is a very key, important component of leading or leaning into healthy relationships. We have to understand our role in a relationship. It's important to understand what am I bringing into every relationship that I am creating with another person. Because when I am signing up for a relationship, I am bringing all of me into the relationship. What is it that I'm bringing? I'm bringing all of this, my baggage from the past, unhealed emotions, unhealthy emotions, everything into the relationship, right? So, what is it that I can do to work on this, right? So, please take some time to reflect on this. Okay, so is this clear? I just want to kind of understand, is there any confusion? Because this is a very integral part of this workshop. So is there any confusion? Have you all understood it? Do you all want me to give you more examples, any of that, or can I go ahead?
Does it have to be only an unhealthy relation, unhealthy spot that you're talking? Or it could be a positive thought also.
So right now we're talking about an unhealthy emotion,
Okay.
because it's important to go into the detail of it, right? Because see, we all are humans, we all are flawed, we all have things that we need to work on. So it's important to understand and address that if there is an unhealthy emotion, what is the seat of it? Where has the seed? Where is the seed? What is the root cause of it? Because otherwise, when you don't work on it, ma'am, it will transfer into every equation relationship. It becomes like a lens. Today, if I feel insecure, for example, think of it on my glasses, I have written insecure. I am viewing the world through that lens. So in every equation, there is some component of insecurity that's going to come slip in. So it's important to understand that. So try to stick with an unhealthy emotion, whatever it is, whichever one. It could be not from the ones that I have listed. It could be even feeling not enough. For example, there are a lot of people who don't feel enough. If I have been compared in my past, I am not going to feel good enough from inside, right? What is that? Where has that come from? Is that something because somebody told me something? Is that something I kind of adapted to? Or is it truly that I feel that about myself? And we need to understand where this is coming from. Okay. How can we stop
There was a question. Yeah, please.
Okay, so I'll take that question later. Is there anything that along these lines? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. So now that we understand the history of the emotion, okay, now you have a choice. You have two choices. One, I want to stick with this because I've established a relationship with this emotion. If it's of insecurity or not good enough or whatever it is, I have established a relationship because for so many years I have this emotion has been there for me. Do I want to carry that forward, or you have a choice? I don't want to carry forward with that. Why I don't want to carry forward with it? Because you remember the word in the last slide was borrowed belief system, right? There's a borrowed belief. If we borrow something from somebody, we give it back, no? We don't keep it for life with us, correct? We don't. So if somebody has planted this into us, and we have, because we didn't have an adult brain back then, we had a baby brain or a teenage brain. So we didn't analyze too much. We took it on face value. But it's a borrowed belief, no? तो आप दे दो वापस, मतलब you give it back, no, to that person, or not even to the person, you give it back to the universe. So you give it back. So that's your choice. You want to keep it and you want to nurture it. You want to kind of make it, into something big, or you give it back. Okay, so that's the choice you have, right? Moving on now. In a relationship, now we've understood that this is something that happens, for example, not feeling enough, feeling insecure, feeling intimidated, feeling a lack, feeling all these emotions, okay? When I am in a relationship with somebody, it could be a friend, it could be anybody, it could be a father-mother relationship, it could be a daughter-father, it could be an intimate relationship, any relationship. What we tend to do in a relationship is, I'm feeling this emotion because of you. That's what we do. You are making me feel this emotion. And we tend to blame the opposite person for making me feel this way, when in reality, I have already felt this long back. This has nothing to do with the opposite person. It is to do with me and my history. Correct? So I want to make you understand, a relationship acts as a mirror. It is a mirror. It will show you your truths. That is what we need to understand. So please, going back, please understand this. It's very easy, Hamna. It's easy to point. You are making me feel bad. You are making me feel insecure because you didn't call me back. You didn't message me back. You did not give me enough attention. I am feeling insecure. When in reality, insecurity is something I have been dealing with for years. But I have not addressed it, I have not healed it. Therefore, in this relationship, which is now very important for me, I am blaming the opposite person. Okay, so this is the cycle that we kind of work on. Now, when we stay in this cycle of the blame game, because of you, because of you, because of you, it can lead to unhealthy competitiveness between two people. You did this, I'll show you what I can do. You do this, I will have a one up on you. That's what when you get stuck in the blame cycle, okay, this is the blame cycle, then you get extremely dependent for your own happiness on the opposite person. Means you are giving the key of your happiness to somebody willingly. The person has not asked for it. Please understand this. The person has not asked for it. I am willingly giving the key to somebody, that now you have the key to my happiness. So when they say something nice to me, I feel very good. When they say something bad to me, I feel very bad. So what have I done? My regulation of emotion is now in the hands of somebody else. Okay? Then there is a loss of your own identity, because everything depends on this person, this opposite person. If they make you feel good, then I'm good. So who are you? Where are you? Everything about you becomes this extension of this other person. It can lead to excessive criticism because you're unhappy, because you're not feeling good within yourself. Therefore, it can lead to extreme criticism. Because of you, I am here in my life. Because of you, I was not there for my friend. Because of you, I was not there for my parents. Because of you, I am stuck in this profession. Because of you, nah. This is something that we tend to do. We emotionally hurt the person purposely, so we will trigger the person. When we play the blame game, we trigger the opposite person. We'll poke the person, we'll hurt them, we'll say things that we know that is hurtful to them, but we will constantly poke. It can lead to abuse. Now, this is again a very extreme situation where it is about emotional, physical, verbal abuse. It can lead to that. The blame game, it starts very small, but when not controlled, not healed, it can lead to this. Okay, so we have to be very careful. And it can lead to cheating. extramarital affairs. It can lead to betrayal. It can lead to all sorts of things because the blame was not addressed, because we didn't look within. It was very easy for us to blame, because of you, I did this. Because you didn't give me the opportunity, I couldn't study. Because you didn't support me, I couldn't do this. Because of you, it's always pointing fingers at the opposite person. So we need to stop doing that and look within. Okay? So now, tell me, now that we've understood this entire gamut of the unhealthy relationship, correct? Now tell me, does this mean that a healthy relationship is just the opposite of this? Tell me. Is this, what do you all think? Is this something that happens? You all can type in the chat. Do you all think the opposite of unhealthy is healthy? It's a trick question.
Not necessarily.
Correct.
Not necessarily at all.
Yes.
But it requires two individuals. It can be father and son, mother and grandpa, any two individuals, a teacher and his student
Correct.
or her student. It requires a tremendous amount of basic trust that this person is not going to let me down.
Wow. Correct. 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 But, and this is a great point, ma'am. Okay. But I'm going to ask a question. Is it necessary in a relationship? Can we put the burden on the opposite person to say that, okay, you're not going to let me down? Tell me, is that a fair thing to put on somebody else in an equation, in a
No,
relationship?
I think every human being today has to understand that you need to take care of yourself first. Then you can start taking care of somebody else's emotions.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Right?
Beautiful.
So, if I can take care of my emotions first, then I am very, very judicious in pushing the responsibility to somebody else. Because the somebody else will also push the responsibility to me. Now, then becomes a fight. So let's not get into a fight. Both of us, let us have our own interests and find a common space in between.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well said. And I really want to take this point because it's about understanding myself first. And that is not selfish. That is actually, sustaining self. Because if I can understand and sustain myself, I am going to be able to bring that into any relation I walk into. It may be of any kind, but I will be able to bring my healthy self into that relationship when I'm looking after myself and my emotions, right? So beautifully said, ma'am. And that's exactly what it is, right? So the opposite of unhealthy is not healthy. In the sense, it is an opposite. But when we look at relationship, there's much more to this.
Yeah, Unnati, sorry to stop you. There's some more reactions on the chat.
Oh, there is. Okay, perfect. Oh dear. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
Accepting the unhealthy and working towards it is a healthy relationship. Absolutely, Pooja. Absolutely. No, it's not fair. We need to take onus to not fair. Correct. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for saying that, because that is exactly it. We have to take our responsibility. And when I say our responsibility, we are responsible for our mind, body, and soul, which encompasses emotions and feelings. So pay attention to
Dr. Mala says not fair.
not fair. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when we look at emotions, right? Emotions. I am going to go back a little bit back into history. Okay. When we look at our ancestry, feelings and emotions, yes, were given importance, but were not given as much importance because we came from a survival instinct. Okay, we've gone through a lot of wars, we've gone through a lot of people coming and invading us and all of that. So it was more about survival and sustenance. So feelings and emotions was not given that importance that one would want to give it. One, we didn't even have that education back then. So we have learned and lived a life where we have not given feelings and emotions as much importance. But if you look if you look at even any illness, okay, if you look at any sort of stress, or if you look at, take any illness, you take cancer, you take diabetes, you take anything, it has a relationship to the emotions and feelings. It is not, it is yes to do with your lifestyle, absolutely. That may be 40%, 60% of it is emotions and feelings. So it's important to understand that there is much more, and we have to learn to give importance to our feelings and emotions and not suppress them. There is this huge idea, niche dabado, suppress them, don't express them. That is not how it works, and especially in relationships, right? So a healthy relationship is working on your own unhealthy emotions which have roots in your past. Okay, please understand this and take this into consideration. Unhealthy emotions have some sort of root in your past. If you do not look at them, they will walk with you through your entire life. You will not even know it. It's such an unconscious thing, but you will see signs of it in relationships. And that's why relationships sometimes don't work, or there is difficulty in them. When we look and when we work towards this, that is when we work towards a healthy relationship. So now, what is the healthy relationship? Growing together in every sphere of life. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the context of even spirituality. Okay, it's important to learn, because I always associate growth with spirituality. I don't associate growth only from a, yes, there is also from a point of view of working towards, with your dreams and your goals. You need that support system and all of that. And great, that is lovely and that needs to be there. But it's also growing together as humans, becoming better individuals. So that is what you can pass down to the future generations. That is what you can understand, that the environment around you is grasping from that. Okay, I'm going to give a simple iceberg analogy here. We all see an iceberg, right? An iceberg has only 20% above sea level and 80% below sea level. Okay, so think of this as 20% is communication, okay, as humans to humans, what we do. The 80% is the energy that I am bringing into a conversation. People don't only resonate with communication, they resonate with the energy that you bring into a conversation. When I am growing together with a person, or when I am growing even individually, my energy will speak that growth. And that is what two people connect to. So that is very, very important to understand. Okay. The second thing is two equals coming together. Please understand, whatever relationship is, whatever, whichever genders it is, it's important to understand two equals are coming in. This is where respect comes into a relationship. Because when there is a hierarchy, okay, even if there is, in terms of, say, one person earns more money, one person earns little less money, but if that becomes a source of hierarchy in your relationship, again there'll be an imbalance, and that imbalance will cause the unhealthy relationship. So please, even if in a materialistic world you all are doing different, one person is ahead in your career, one person is still working towards their career, or whatever it is, you have to view as two equal people are coming together. And this is in any relationship. I'm talking about father son, mother daughter. It's important to understand, this is, the way, the technique to do two equals coming together is when we let go of the ego. The ego, itna bada, everybody has big, we come with big egos. When we let go of the ego, that's when two equals come together. Okay, because in any relationship, this is very key. Next thing is not creating a clone of yourself. Okay, so in most of the relationships, it's like, if somebody doesn't have the same opinion as you in friends, in an intimate relationship, then it's very difficult for us to accept that. The idea of a relationship is equalizing to growth. Growth means accepting differences. Growth will not happen without accepting differences. So don't be in the mindset of creating a clone of yourself. Whatever I feel, this person should also feel. If we have a difference in opinion, then it's not okay. Learn to understand and to embrace the differences, because that's your path towards growth. Embracing the differences, which I've already said. Give ample space when there is ample trust. You know, you can only give space in a relationship when there is trust. And trust means you have to learn to treat each other with utmost respect. You have to learn to understand the needs of each other. You have to learn to understand what the other person wants from this relationship. And you have to have those deeper conversations, because, you know, many people, it's very hard to give space in a relationship. But that's because trust is not there. Trust is not built up. There is a form of insecurity in that relationship, which is why it's difficult to give that space. Loving unconditionally, no adulteration. Okay, it is very important to understand when you love somebody, any relationship, मिलावट, in Hindi we say na, मिलावट नहीं होनी चाहिए. Matlab, there needs to be no adulteration. There should be no hidden agenda. It should be what it is. You give what you have and you receive what they give. That's the idea of a unconditional relationship. It's very important to understand the word here, unconditional. It is not, if you are like this, I will love you. If you change as per my whims and fancies, then I will love you. It is not that. It is about accepting and loving whatever is in front of you. Okay, so these were few of the things that help to understand a healthy relationship. Now I'm going to explain a simple rule to everybody. Okay, so you all can see a 50-50 rule on the screen. You can see this very cute rainbow, and there are these two clouds. Okay, so think of two people standing in instead of these two clouds. Okay, now there is a line that goes across these two people, which represents 100%. Okay, so in any relationship, one person does 50%, the other does 50, and you all meet in the middle. But you do 100% of your 50%. Means you give your all in your 100%, in your 50%. Okay, so you give your full effort into your 50%, and you, okay. Now these two people are standing, there's this thin line going across. This person does 50, this person does 50. That's where you come in the middle. Now, that's healthy relationship. What is unhealthy? When one person does 60, how much will this person do? 40. If this person does 80, how much will this person do? 20. So they will get used to giving only 20% in this relationship. So they will only show up 20% and not 50%, because you are doing the 80% work or 60% work. It's important to learn to stay in your own backyard. So I tell this to my clients. When I work with couples, I always tell them, stay in your backyard. You do your 50, you do your 50, and you stay in your backyard. The minute you cross your 50% line, the opposite person will not show up as much as they need to in the relationship. And I'm going to specify this with mothers and children. When moms do 60, 70%, the child learns to do only 30 and 40% in a relationship. Then the mother is questioning, oh, but why are you not showing up for me? But that's what happens, because that is what we have taught. So in any relationship, remember this rule. Okay, now, some of the emotions of a healthy equation or a healthy relationship is security, trustworthy, uplifting. Okay, so in an equation, sometimes one person is here, sometimes one person is here. The person who's here needs to learn to pull this person up. Okay, that's called uplifting each other. Encouraging. Okay, loving, obviously, compassionate, blissful, selfless, positive, respectful, caring. This is what comprises of a healthy relationship. And of course, there is, of course, loving unconditionally, but this is what is a healthy relationship. The reason I took everybody today from unhealthy to healthy is because to understand that every emotion plays a role in our life, and you cannot discard any emotion, because when you are insecure, then you understand what security is. When you don't trust people, that's when you learn and you are able to trust people. So oppositions are important. So when you are angry, you also learn how to be calm. Oppositions are very important. So please don't discard these emotions, whether they're healthy or unhealthy. If they're healthy emotions, work on them and make them more expansive. If they're unhealthy emotions, work on them to learn how to let them go and to work on melting them away. Right? So with that, I come to an end of this workshop. And yeah, we can open the round for questions. And yeah, that's what I wanted to kind of take everyone through today.
Thank you,
Perfect. Thank
Unnati.
you so much, Unnati. I think a wonderful session. So much to sort of introspect on. So thank you for that. I think we will move ahead and take a few questions. Before we move on to the questions in the chat box, we have a few questions which people already wrote to us. So I'm going to take a few of that.
So
One of the questions is by an individual in their late teens. The question is, whenever I share a good news with my parent, I always get negative, dismissive response. Oh, you could have scored only this much after all the hard work you've put in. I don't understand why the response is so. I am losing motivation to do better. So can you please help?
absolutely. So when there is, when you're sharing good news and when you're met with criticism, there is often a very high possibility for you to feel demotivated. Okay. For whoever this person is, it's important to understand and to reflect. Number one is, what is it that I am feeling about myself? When I am achieving something, am I only looking for validation from the externals? Is it that I'm only doing it for my parents? Or is there something that I can also validate for myself? It's okay in any relationship, it's okay to depend on your partner for maybe, say, I'm giving you a percentage, so it's more concrete. Say from 100%, it's okay to depend maybe 30% on somebody. Okay, 20%, 30%. I'm still saying it's a little higher, but still it's okay. But 60-70% should be coming from the internal. So it's important for this person to understand that what is it that I feel about my achievement. And yes, communication is the second thing. If your parents are criticizing you, if they are coming with maybe an expectation, sit with them, communicate, and readjust their expectation for you. It's important for you to communicate that and understand that. Okay, so readjust that expectation, because yes, your parents may have that expectation. Communicate and get that sorted out. So that is what I would suggest to that.
Perfect. Thank you, Unnati. The next question is by an individual in their early 30s. And the question says, I have always been forced to take a call against my wishes due to a person very close to me who gets me to act according to their wishes by appealing to me emotionally. Sometimes even with regard to my money and investments as well. How do I handle the situation without hurting the other person?
This is a very interesting one, because a lot of people find it very difficult to say a no. And we feel when I'm going to say a no, I'm going to hurt the other person. But the trick in this is how you're saying the no. It is not the no that you're saying, it is how you are communicating that to the other person. Because I think it's very important today, if somebody is making you do things, again, it's very easy to point the finger, you're making me do things, but the person will leave. Okay, or they will continue to stay or they will leave. But नुकसान तो आपको हो रहा है ना, मतलब you're bearing the brunt of it, no? So you have to take charge of yourself, and you are going to have to learn at some point to say a no. Very tough, but we have to instill that practice. It's not disrespectful, it is how you say it and how you communicate that. Again, communication here is key. And to this person needs to tell this other person that, hey, listen, I am feeling very controlled. There is an element of control here, and I need that space. But if you don't communicate that, the person who is trying to control is controlling because that's their habit. They have come with that understanding, they have come with that sort of backing or upbringing, and that is there. There's no right and wrong in this. It's how to navigate through this. I think that is how I would kind of put this across.
Yes, thank you, Unnati. The next one is, I think this is by Freddy in the chat box. We must know, okay, I think there is a statement. We must know the equality and respect in the relationship. So I think the question is, so how can we do that?
Equality in a relationship. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I think equality in a relationship, number one, I think I will always go back to myself first. So I will have to understand what is the definition of equality for me. Okay. How do I view myself as an equal component, like an equal half to somebody, right? So that is number one. In order to look at equality in another person, I think this is the training of the mind. We all come with a lot of conditioning, okay, that certain genders are supposed to be doing certain things. There is a hierarchy. There is all sorts of these things that we have been looking at societal conditioning, learning, upbringing, all of those things. I think it's important to recognize and to train the mind and to unlearn certain patterns. You see, there is this person called Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a very famous doctor, and he talks a lot about how the first 7 years of your life are the most impressionable years. And the first 7 years of your life, whatever you have grasped, the next 85 years of your life are based on the first 7 years of your life. So what he says is that the first half, maybe the first 30 years of your life, you're learning. You're taking things from people, you're learning from environment, this, that, all of that. The second half, you're unlearning the first half, which is unfortunate, but that's the reality of life. Because when you start learning from a perspective of putting yourself, when you start becoming mature and you start analyzing and understanding, you can now let go of the patterns. The same thing as we spoke about that comparison, the insecurity of not feeling enough. You have to unlearn. So even when you're looking at equality, the idea is not how to look at somebody as equal. We should be treating everybody equally. That is human to human existence. We should not be treating anybody unequally. There is nothing that should suggest that. But it is the conditioning that makes us come to this position. So I think that is important to retrain your mind.
Right. I think there's a question about siblings, and I'm going to club the two because I think it's pretty much the same. The question says, my younger sibling always plays victim in front of my parents and gets his or her way. Is there a way to not be the real victim? Also, there's another person asking something similar. I feel my parents prefer my younger sibling over me. We both are of the same gender and perform similarly in life. How to overcome this favoritism? So I think it's about victim mentality and about favoritism.
Correct. Okay, so victim mentality is one thing that I always say in my sessions also with people. Victim mentality is like a disease. The reason for that is it's like fear. Fear feeds on fear. Victimization feeds on victimization. Victimization is a cycle. It goes back to becoming, self-pity and all of that. It's a cycle. You have to break the cycle. You cannot stay in a victimization mode because that is only going to hamper your growth, because you become very touchy with that. Oh, poor me. This is not happening to me. this is happening to my sibling, this is not. If there is something that is happening for your sibling, and if you want something similar, you need to work for it. You can't sit on a throne and say that, okay, whatever my sibling, for example, is good at something and they are getting appreciated, but you're not doing anything, then obviously that appreciation is not going to come your way. So, one is that, of course, there is a need for you to also look within to understand what is keeping me in this victimization cycle. Because again, when I'm in the victim zone, I am getting what? Attention from the other person. I am getting attention from the outside. That becomes my comfort zone. So I will stay there. I will mollycoddle. I will, stay there and make it like all, mushy and all, or it's a comfort zone. So it's important to understand, am I doing this because I want some sort of validation again? So again, it's a lot of introspection, but also to understand that how you have to break this cycle. And I think somebody like this needs to go into counseling, because the breaking of the cycle is a tough one. So coming to counseling will help them to understand and will give steps to them to how to break that cycle, because obviously there are lots of factors to it. So yeah, that is what I would say.
Okay, I think in the audience we have Suparna ma'am who's raised her hand. Ma'am, is there a question you'd want to put across?
A question. The first question that you are addressing, I felt that it is more to do with the upbringing of an individual. You said the first 7 years, Bruce Lipton, of course, yes, but you were answering the question a little before that. So I wanted to add to that point, telling that parents have got this tendency of putting their dreams, which they have not been able to conquer, push them onto the children. I think it's more than the children, it's the parents who need to be educated. They need to be told that, hey, come out of the shackles. Point number one, your child is your child. And he's unique. Don't make a clone of yours, as you said, correct? And it is those first 7 to 10 years, which is very important. Even as parents, we should be very careful in those first 10 years. That's it. I just wanted to add to that. That's why I raised my hand. Thank you.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to kind of just, this concept of this parenting and putting their dreams on their children. You know what? I think it's very, very key. And thank you for bringing that point up, ma'am, because, it's an age-old traditional way of thinking that we have, we kind of own the children, and even for the children, they own the parents. this thinking, ये जो सोच है वो गलत सोच है. Parents are there to give the child wings to fly. That is the idea of parenthood, and that's also the idea of the children. Children also need to give the parents the wings to fly. When we start making it my own, I own this person is mine, and that is the difficulty, because then expectations come, and those expectations become a very high probability of risk of disappointment, which is the problem. So thank you for bringing up that point, because this is a very key point in understanding both sides, parents and the children. So thank you for that.
Yeah, Pooja, there is questions
Yes.
from Paresh Master, Rotarian, and Snigdha. Could you please take
Yes,
that quickly?
I think we'll take that and we can wind up the Q&A
Yes.
because
And
we're
then we'll
running
have the
off time.
rendition. We're waiting for the
Yes.
rendition.
Rashmi ji, can I put one sentence?
Sir, after these two questions, sir, please.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, so I think we have a question from past President Rotarian Paresh, which says, if relationship is not healthy, is it okay to walk away from it?
I think this is, I don't think this is a platform to discuss this. This is it has a lot of components, it has a lot of factors, and obviously I would need to know details and all of that. And listen, as much as, as a lot of people come to psychologists thinking, aap answer de doge, you give me the answer. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer. I can help you to understand things better. Yes, I can give you a perspective. I can't give you an answer. Now, unhealthy is a very subjective thing. Now, the intensity of unhealthy is I don't know. So, yes, I think it's important for me to get full context to be able to even suggest a perspective over this. But yeah, I unfortunately won't be able to give you a right or a correct or whatever sort of an answer here. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Unnati. The next
Does
one,
it
and I
answer
think
the question from Sigda also?
is compromising all the time help for a healthy relationship, which I think Unnati covered in your 50-50 rule, right? I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. Compromise, compromise is great to an extent where you are not compromising on yourself. If you're constantly compromising, you will come to a place where you will start resenting the person. Because every time if you have to keep compromising on your needs, on your wishes, on your dreams, on your hopes, you will start resenting the person. You will dislike the person. It'll take you to an unhealthy. So again, it's important for us to be able to speak our truth, understand how to navigate, little bit compromise. It's normal, happens, but not too much that you're sabotaging yourself. So yeah.
Yes, Dr. Patel, please tell your question.
I think, ma'am, especially, I was listening very carefully to Unnati ji because I'm a medical doctor and I deal with all these things. I was
Yes,
listening to every sentence and I was remembering the entire Bhagavad Gita, especially the second adhyaya, okay, where it's called as Sankhya Yoga. And everything what you said is there described. And if people can really don't take it as a religious book, take it as a psychology book, take it as a management book. And if every parent and children are trained under this thing, most of 80 to 90% of the problems will be solved. Because many times when you say sing, only one I will quote, especially about the anger. Kama sanjayate krodha, क्रोधाद्भवति सम्मोहः, सम्मोहाद्भवति स्मृतिविभ्रमः, स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः, बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. This means by anger you will get confused. In confusion, you don't know what you are speaking and what you are doing. And once you do that, you will spoil the entire relationship and there will be destruction. This is medically 100% correct when you get angry, but without thinking why you should get angry. And the best example, it is not political, but Modi never replies anything to anybody who speaks. He is only concerned with the karma and work, progress of the nation. So this is what I wanted to add. Very nice, Unnati ji, though you are very young, but wonderfully expressed all the feelings and all the things how to handle. And I must really salute Rashmi ji, where she could catch you.
Sir, people come, we don't have to catch anybody. Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
Rashmi ji, you are doing a really great job, I am seeing. And this I wanted to attend. So thank you very much for giving the opportunity and listening to Unnati ji was very nice, very great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Team
Thank you,
members,
sir.
Pooja, please go ahead.
Thank you. I just
Yes.
want to say one thing. Sorry, Pooja.
That's okay.
Dr. Patel ji, I just want to say thank you for bringing the Bhagavad Gita. It's actually on my desk. That is something that I want to invest a lot more in. And it's a sign from the divine for me. Honestly, it's a sign because you have brought that, and that is something I want to really, really go more deeper into. So thank you for that. And I just want to say one thing about the peace of anger. Thank you for saying the shlok, and thank you for explaining that so beautifully, doctor. Anger, in another word, in my psychology world, we call it a cry for help. When somebody is angry, the reason they are angry is because they want you to hear them. Why are they becoming louder? Why are they increasing their volume? Is because they're like, listen, please hear me. I'm not feeling heard. It's a cry for help. And the thing is, when anger is suppressed, when there is anger inside and we don't deal with it, we don't heal and work towards it, it moves into, it's energy, energy hota hai, right? Ye sab emotions, feelings are energy. It has to move, it has to take a shape and form, and it will of some illness.
Somebody was, please.
So,
Somebody was
can you keep it,
telling
Chris?
that somebody was telling children, my children, all that. Bhagavad Gita clearly says, children only come through you. They don't belong to you after 15. After 15 years, You have to take care of them. Don't treat them like friends. You are father, but give them equal right to express their views. Is what. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Beautiful.
sir.
Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we can have the
Thank you.
revision.
Thank you. That was, I think, considering we've spoken about so many things, so many layers to process. So let's just take a moment and process whatever we've discussed, whatever Unnati has told us. So while you are processing, we'll have a beautiful renedition, as already announced, by a Rotarian from Sri Lanka, Sandali Geetma, and Mr. Ravi Kumar. So please sit back, process whatever we spoke about relationships, and hope you all manifest happy, healthy relationships. So over to you, Rotarian Pratap.
Would there be comfortable one?
Rotarian Sandali, you can play the rendition.
Is it visible?
Yes.
It is visible. Audio is.
Okay, sure. I'll.
Pratap, have you shared the audio, please?
Discuss.
Pratap, audio is not shared. Please, could you please check?
We can hear it, ma'am. I think it's
hear it.
audible. We're all able to hear it.
Okay.
Video is
One of you
also not
increase the volume to 100% so that you can hear that. I'm able to hear the sitar.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Sandali. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely. Very nice.
Pratap sir, do we have the other one playing,
Yeah,
or do we
you
proceed?
I think if there is a lack of time, we can proceed, but
Okay.
shall I play that?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and play it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think this was perfect for all of us to process everything that was discussed. I just like to take a moment to call upon our DG and Rotarian Elizabeth to say a few words before the vote of thanks.
Welcome, DGN. Welcome, DGN.
Good evening and thank you for having me. I really felt the session was very encouraging and really of interest to most of the people here. But then I was also thinking that maybe, you know, when you talk of understanding healthy relationships and about giving in relationships or being part of relationships, there is a mindset that is ingrained in us right from childhood that, you know, you have to be more giving, you have to adjust, you have to put up with this. You should not give up like that. You should not walk away from a relationship. Relationships are like that. There are ups and downs. And that kind of a mentality, you know, has kind of been ingrained in children also. We do that unconsciously to our children. And we tell them, you know, you need to really put yourself there. It's okay. There will be small ups and downs. Learn to adjust, learn to adjust. If you look at most of the dowry deaths from the north, I'm sorry to say, but most of them have been the cause for that has been this one principle where parents have been telling, especially to the girls, that, you know, you need to adjust, you need to be more giving, you need to keep on giving. So this kind of a thing, I think it should be a lesson that parents should also learn and say that giving, yes, but not giving to the extent that it hurts you, and not giving to the extent that you lose your own identity. So these two are very important lessons that I think we take as a summary from today's session. And I think we should be able to put this on to parents more, because that is where it begins. Like you said, the first 7 years, yes, the early part of our life is totally what is told to us by parents or by teachers or whoever. And even when a child comes back from school and complains that he or she is bullied or a teacher has been unfair to the child, which very often happens, and we indirectly tell the child, it's okay, there are other children there, it's not just you, you may be right, but it's okay, but the teacher is a teacher, respect her, and things like that, so that is where I think parents and elders need a more important lesson on this, so that we are not left with children who at the end do not know where they belong really. They're not able to take a call. Like I said, they don't know when to walk out. They don't know whether the relationship is pulling them in. They don't know whether they are losing their identity. At the end of it all, they are left in a very confused state of mind. That was my take on this. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
ma'am.
so
Very
much.
well put. It was a beautiful summary of, I think, or rather more of what we all can carry forward. I think it was a wonderful session. So to wind up, I call upon Rotarian Suparna to please propose the vote of thanks.
I think I'll pick up from what DG and Elizabeth said just now, because yesterday and today, there were 2 deaths, one in Kota and one in Bangalore, where the child could not keep up to the expectation of the parents. And Unnati, I think you have really summarized that whole thing up. We are so happy about that. Certain things which you have said, borrowed belief, give it back to the universe. Wonderful. A blame cycle, sustaining self, not to suppress your thoughts in your relationship. Anger is a cry for help. I mean, wonderfully put. And I think people who have been here with us today, DG set the entire context by telling, have open communication, respect and support for each other. Whether it is within your families, whether it is within clubs, or whether it is amongst clubs and organizations, these 3 things are required. And he literally set the tone out there. It was wonderful. Sandali, your rendition of Rag Jai Jaivanti was really, really nice, so soothing. It really complemented to whatever we heard about unhealthy and healthy relationships. And the hippie song of Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, what Rotarian Ravi Verma did just now, literally tells Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, lekin apni suno, khud ki karo, right? So I thank both of them too. And I also thank participants from Japan, participants from Mauritius, Pakistan, Africa, West Africa, are joining us this evening, which was a little deep dive into our own selves, basically. And even before you actually came in today to give us this talk, Mind Crusaders, led by our dear director Pratap, had run a poll. And in the poll, the number of districts which took part was enormous. 3201, 3250, 3170, 4900, 3191, 3182, 3271, 3262, and of course 3192 and 3191. They all participated in the poll, which is set up to ask, are we aware about healthy and unhealthy relationships? It was just a trigger. But that brought many of us today here to listen to you. And I thank Rotarian Pratap to do this. Of all the things, I think today was a very nice day. Thanks to our team leader, Rashmi Tansali, Rotarian Rashmi Tansali, for pushing us. Pratap Ujjini for always being there along with her to do everything. And of course, we have our dear Pooja and DG, and not the last but the least, Vijay ma'am, to push all of us to go ahead and delve and see a little into our hearts. I love talking about self, thereby I loved your session, Unnati. Thank you so much. Maybe I will connect with you on a one-on-one basis. I will take your number from Pooja dear and we'll connect. But it was overall a lovely session. I hope all of us who are here liked it, enjoyed it. It's time for us to manifest the same in our lives. थोड़ा सा, थोड़ा करने से भी चलेगा, लेकिन जरूरी है थोड़ा करना. Thank you so much. for being with us this evening. This is from Mind Crusaders team. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen.
team. Thank
Hope
you.
you have a great night. Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining, everyone. It was great to have you all from all districts. Thank you.
Thank you.